Hello. Hello and welcome. So excited to see all of you here. We are kicking off the 2026 LAM Summer Reading Challenge, and this is the 9th year. I can't believe that I've been doing this for 9 years, but it's only gotten better every single year. I'm so excited to have some incredible authors here with us this summer. I'm kind of vamping just a little because we are missing one of our authors, but hopefully she will pop in with us very soon. I am checking emails very quickly. I don't do very well with the multitasking, but here we go. I'm trying it. All right. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight. Thank you for inviting friends to join us. And we're going to have a great summer. So I'll talk a little bit more about what the challenge is and how it works in just a minute. But I want to introduce you guys to our fantastic featured authors for this summer. So we have, and I'm going to let them kind of really introduce themselves and the books that they have. But I want to just say that Jann Franklin, Lenora Worth, and Perreault, you're going to have to tell me if I said that correctly. And then we also have Cassie Greutman, who is not with us yet, but hopefully she'll be joining us soon. They are going to go, I think we'll do in that order. So Jann, Lenora, Anne, we'll do in that order. I'm going to have them introduce themselves and their books and a fun fact about themselves. So you'll get to know a little bit about them. But each of these ladies, you guys are going to have a full chat with each of them later this summer. So I always love those. I get to ask so many questions, and I love hearing the questions that our readers come up with. So be sure to be listening in, jotting down notes, and we'll have time at the end of this one as well if you guys have questions. So let's get started with Jann. Jann, introduce yourself.
Hi, Joy. Thanks for being here, y'all. I am from Louisiana, just like Joy, and I love to write cozy mysteries. I tell people, if you like Murder, She Wrote, you will like my stories. They're all about small town. I live in the small town of Grand Cane, Louisiana, population where I think we're down to 246 now. Yeah, we lost a few. I don't know. Anyway, fun fact about me. We just recently bought the coffee shop in our small town. So we really knew nothing. We know more. So it's been a great learning experience. We just did not want it to shut down. We don't have a community center, so it's our community center, our place to meet. So we love it.
That's so awesome. And it ties really well into your books because there's a very special coffee shop in your books.
That's true. Yes. And now I can write more precisely and accurately about the coffee shop because I know firsthand now about coffee. So
that's great. All right, Lenora, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lenora Worth and Jann. That's like a dream, a coffee house or you can write in. That's perfect. I'm Lenora Worth. I've been around since like forever. I sold my first book in 1993 to a small publisher, Avalon, which only sold to libraries. And then I did a couple of more books for leisure. Then I found Love Inspired, and I've been with them. Next year will be 30 years. And I've been published for 33 years, over 100 books and counting. And I was trying to retire, but I had an offer to write one more Amish book, and I'm working on that right now. So friends invited me into kind of a trilogy anthology. And so anyway, I'm working on that. I'm doing some indie work, and I'll be featuring one of my indie books throughout this month that we're getting to know each other. I lived in Louisiana for close to 30 years, 25-ish maybe, and I consider it more home than Georgia, where I grew up, but loved the food. We were in Shreveport, which is really close to Texas, but still part of Louisiana. We, love New Orleans, Baton Rouge. That's where I met Joy at the book festival there, and so I miss Louisiana a lot, but I live in Florida now, so I can't complain because it's closer to our hometown. And just beautiful in its own way. Good food, just like Louisiana. And anyway, we live in a lake house now that's a money pit. And I've encountered a few snakes since I've been here. They seem to like me for some reason. And so I've got a lot I can write about here, that's for sure. Small town, Defuniak Springs. It's beautiful. We live on a lake outside of town, but there's an oval lake downtown that one of the industrial, what am I trying to say? The rich folks, the billionaires, came down and found this lake that probably was formed from a sinkhole, but it's completely oval, 1 mile around, and they built these beautiful Victorian homes around it. And so when I want to go walk now, instead of the beach, I go to the lake and talk to the ducks and the geese, and and hope Jesus is there with us, which he usually is. But anyway, I'm so happy to be here. I know Joy had asked me last year and I couldn't do this, and I said yes this year. And of course, then I got busy all over again, but I'm still here. So happy to be here.
Right. I'm so glad that you're with us. This is so great. And I love all the connections and meeting all these people. Those of y'all who've been with me for a while know how much I love meeting authors and sharing them with readers and getting you guys on the same stage. I love it. So, Anne, I am very excited for you to introduce yourself and let me know how I did with the pronunciation of your last name.
You did good. Thank you you did good. So I'll tell you. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here with all these wonderful authors and just having a chance to talk books and to readers, and it's a lot of fun. My name is Anna Perreault. Nobody gets my first name and that's a fun fact. I'm actually originally born and raised in Germany, and I am 150%. I am fully German. My parents, my cousins, my aunts still live in Germany, and I have I moved here for college, and I stayed. That was it. So my real name is Anna Katrine, but nobody can say it. So I have always had to shorten it to Anna, but that's hard as well. So I settled on Anna. So, and my husband is from French Canadian heritage, that kind of stuff. So, but I'm an indie author. I've been publishing for about 10 years. Oh, wow. Last year was my 10th year. So, and I have just published my 26th book. I write stories. I guess my slogan is, or my motto, whatever, my thing is stories of love, hope, redemption, and forgiveness. And I love writing Christian books about life, and with characters that really kind of, I've had so many of my readers go, I miss those characters. And so I love creating characters that are real, but yeah, I'm excited to be here, and yeah, thank you.
This is wonderful, and I love how we all have some very similar themes in our books. I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Joy E. Rancatore. For those of you who don't know me, I think you all do. Thank y'all for being here. But I'll be wrapping up. So our final week, I'll be the featured author, and we'll have a little chat and all that kind of stuff. And I'll be talking about my latest release, which is a nonfiction book. It's called Animal Vignettes, True Stories of Friendship, and it's true stories about the animals in my life. So I know a lot of us have animals in our books, and so that's one thing that's in common. Of course, we also all write more inspirational, very clean and wonderful and wholesome stories from all different genres, and there's a lot of the love and the redemption and the forgiveness, I think, in a lot of our books. That tends to be a common theme. Another common theme, I can't remember if all of you do, but I think I remember some found family in a lot of us as well. That's another common one. So it's just so much fun to connect and to find readers who really enjoy these kinds of stories and these kinds of themes and these types of authors. So that's what we all bring together. And let me see, I had a fun fact earlier. Let me see if I can come up with it. Of course, it's going to like drift right out of my head, but I guess the fun fact for me is I probably told my very first stories to stuffed animals when I was a little toddler. So the theme of animals has run deep. We'll just put it that way. Oh my goodness. All right. So I'm going to take just a couple of minutes to introduce the challenge itself. And then I have another question I'm going to ask our authors, and then I'm going to open it up for you guys to ask them some questions. Okay. So, because we only have 40 minutes for this, I do the free Zoom, so we're stuck with the 40 minutes, but it works out pretty good most of the time. So the challenge. So this, like I said, is my 9th year. I've tweaked things a little bit each year, but for the most part, it stays the same. The point is to bring authors and readers together, for us to come together and celebrate books, and to have a lot of fun while doing it, and to win some prizes, because, you know, that's always fun. Plus, summer reading isn't just for kids, right? So we have one of the best library systems on the planet. St. Tammany Parish Library System is fantastic. Love their summer reading programs that they do. So you'll probably notice if you're into the summer reading challenges at your library, you might pick up on a few similarities in the theme with our categories, our main reading categories, and that's intentional because I think that this pairs perfectly with our library's summer reading challenges. So the way that it works is we have events like this. We're going to have 3 events where we have multiple authors. So this one, and then at the end, we'll have our wind down and winner's toast where we're going to announce our big grand prize winners. And these ladies will be back with me for that. And then we'll also have a mid-challenge boost where some of the authors who have been featured authors in the past will come back on July 5th for a fun little boost round robin to kind of get us excited for the second half of our 2-month reading challenge. So the other events that we have are author chats, like I mentioned before. So each one of these ladies is going to have her featured author chat, where I'm going to have a list of questions. I'm going to ask them some of them, and hopefully you guys are going to show up live and ask them amazing questions, because you always do. And so those are the events. We'll also have my book club that is year round. We have this the first Monday of each month, year round. It's virtual, just like this. We get together and it's so much fun. Now, we are going to be meeting on the second Thursday of July this time, but typically it's the first Monday, so stick around with me in August after the challenge is over and it'll be back on the first Monday. So that's a lot of fun, and there's no set book. We come and we talk about what we're reading. We go off on tangents and we get very excited and very just passionate about the amazing books that we're reading, and we have so much fun. So that's a little bit about my book club that goes on all year, and you guys will get to experience that July 9th. So in addition to the events, we have 2 ways that you can win. So we have points and we have our reading challenge categories. So I have the first 8 reading challenge categories up in our Facebook group, so be sure to check those out. But I know that we have some very avid readers. So once those 8 categories are filled in, I'm going to have probably about 100 more categories for you guys, because I've found that that's what it takes, because I have that readers that are that avid at reading throughout the summer. So there will be many, many more categories to come. But those first 8 will get us started. And the 2 grand prizes, one will be whoever reads the most books from the categories throughout the summer. The second grand prize winner is going to be the one who accumulates the most points throughout the summer. Now, how do you get points? You come to events like this. So 20 points to come live for an event if you watch the replay, because there will be replays of all of these, and you either comment in the Facebook group or on the YouTube, then that's 10 points. And then I will be posting daily posts in our group. So every day you're going to get a chance to comment on a post. They're meant to be interactive and fun, and every time you comment on a post, or every post you comment on, is 10 points. Okay, so you're going to rack up a lot of points this summer. The other thing that your points count toward are on our featured author weeks. So next week will be Casey's week. And so during her week, the points that are accumulated during that particular week add up, and at the end, whoever has the most points from that week wins an autographed copy of her book. Now, the points continue to add up all summer long for that grand prize, but during the featured author weeks, that's how we figure out who wins the author's prize. Now, once you win an author's autographed copy, you've won a book, so it's going to be somebody else's chance. We're gonna share the love, y'all. I'm all about that. There's one other thing that you can win, and you guys who have come live tonight have an opportunity to win the first of these, and that is our Share the Read swag packs. And our authors, the ones that you see here, plus the ones who are going to be joining us in the middle of the at the mid-challenge boost, have sent in some fun swag. So I'll show you just a couple of things so far. So Jann always puts together these adorable little packets because, you know, mystery writer, of course, we've got some crime scene tape, right? And then this is from Casey. And so we've got stickers and bookmarks and all sorts of fun things. I think that I've got a couple of calendars, reading calendars that I have that I'm going to stick in there. And we're still gathering stuff. So whoever wins tonight, you may have to wait a few weeks. Just bear with us. We're going to have you a whole pack full of fun, bookish stuff. So if you are here live, I actually meant to do this earlier and completely forgot. So I'm going to ask the next question of our authors, and then I'm going to get our names ready. So those of you who are here live, your name's going in for this. All right, so our next question, and we'll do the same order. Actually, let's do the backward. So let's go Anne, Lenora, Jann, okay? So what is a special memory you have of summer reading challenges? And I mentioned to them that this could be a childhood memory, it could be something more recent, it could be just something special about sharing books, preferably in the summertime, with friends or family. So, go for it, Anne.
Okay, so since I'm German, we didn't have reading challenges in Germany. We just didn't. But I was so in love with books and stories from, before I can remember. So my memory of summertime and reading and whatnot is not wanting to go outside. And I would rather sit in my room and read a book than play with my friends. And my mom would have to force me to go outside to play. And I would be so mad. I would be so mad. I would not want to be outside. So, that was kind of, yeah.
That's great. I can totally relate to that.
Yeah. I think a lot of authors can. So.
All right, Lenora, what about you?
Well, I can feel for you, Anne, because I had to do my chores before I could read. Because in my family, if you sat around reading, you were lazy. And so I learned to do my chores as fast as I could so I could read the rest of the day. But my favorite memory to this day was when I was probably 7 or 8, and I had 6 brothers and sisters, and I had one sister, Glenda, who was my favorite because she would take me places and, just take me with her family, and she was like my second mother. She took me to the Carnegie Library in the little town where I grew up, Pelham, Georgia, and signed me up for a Saturday children's reading hour. And when I walked in and smelled that book smell, the kind of musky and just like old leather, and saw these books, I was in heaven because I love to read as long as I can remember. And so I would go, she would come and pick me up every Saturday, take me to town, wait for me to finish, and then we usually go get an ice cream or a soda. There was a soda fountain right around the corner in this huge, beautiful Art Deco building that I still love. But that's what got me so involved in reading. And I had my first library card. And I remember when I was a teenager, some of the books that I'd bring home, my mother would frown on them, and she'd say, "Oh, is that proper reading?" I'm like, "Sure." And some of them were like shocking to me too. But I remember reading. And of course, her name my mind it just went blank. One of the very popular Christian fiction writers. Y'all probably know who I'm talking about. Christie, maybe.
Oh,
Anyway,
Catherine Marshall?
yeah, I think that was one of them. But this was a really big, thick green book, and I just loved it. And I read all the Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys or whatever. And that's when I realized I liked to write suspense too, but I didn't know what I was doing, of course. But so all through school, I would write short stories and sell them on the playground, and they were usually these dramatic love stories. And the one girl would buy them, and then she'd pass them around. And so I've been doing this a really long time, thanks to my sister. And she passed away before I ever got books published, but I know she was up there helping me. I do know that. So that's a special memory.
That's so special. Aw,
Yes.
love that. All right, Jann, what about you?
That's a hard act to follow, both of them. That's the hard part about going last. You have a lot of time to think about your answer, but then you have to follow everybody. But I am an only child, and my parents both worked, so I was home a lot. And I think we had 3 TV channels, which was nobody would believe that nowadays. But I read a lot, and I loved reading. It was such an adventure. You just fall into the book, and you look up, and it's 2 hours later, and it was always so wonderful for me. And even in college, on Sunday afternoons, we go to church, we go have lunch, and we take a nap, or we would read, my roommate and I, and it was so much fun. And so when I had kids, I wanted to pass that on to them. And my oldest just hated reading, and it just made me want to cry because he just didn't like it. And now, flash forward, he is, oh goodness, 28 years old, and he and his wife, they don't watch TV at night. They sit and read books. And she brought out the joy of reading to him. I don't know what she did. I don't ask. I'm just thankful. But I love that. And then my youngest, he has always loved to read. His mother-in-law is a librarian, and they get free books all the time. And they don't even, I'm proud of that. In that, well, I mean, I didn't do it, but I'm proud of them because people will say, "Oh, do you watch what are all the famous, Yellowstone or Law and Order?" Like, no, but I can tell you the latest books I've read. So I just love that, and I really give that all to God because especially my oldest was not loving reading, but somehow God turned all that around. So reading is just such a great gift. It's so inexpensive, and you can take it anywhere, and it just fills your mind so much more than any type of other entertainment. So it's such a gift and a blessing and as an author, I feel like it's such a neat part to be on another side of that, and providing people with an opportunity to have that adventure waiting for them. So
Love that. Books are just so amazing, and they're just such a great way to bring people together. So, Casey, I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm going to have you introduce yourself and your book, and then share anything that you'd like, either fun fact or something about summer reading, a good memory.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I apologize for being late. It's a fair week in my area, and I'm a horse counselor for the 4-H and everything, and some kids were having issues, and I got home late, so sorry about that. But yeah, my name is Cassie Greutman, and I write mostly urban fantasy, but really any type of fantasy. The book that has been entered for this summer is called Storm of Magic. and it's about a 20-year-old cop, and she goes to a domestic disturbance. And while she's there, she finds out it's actually a fae lady who's trying to bring her evil husband through a portal. And she closes the portal while she's there, but that paints a red X on her back because the fae has been spending her whole last 10 years building this up, trying to get her husband through. And so now she needs the main character to open the portal, since she's the one that closed it. And it's a story of reconciliation between the main character and her husband, and reconciliation between her and her dad. And so there's lots of family things that go on in it, as well as all the fantasy. I like to tell very human stories through fantasy worlds. So yeah, and as for favorite summer reading things would be, my home was pretty chaotic growing up, in a good way, in the best way. But I was a very quiet person, so I would pack my puppy in a backpack and throw a book in there, and then go out in the woods and find a tree and read for the day. So I spent a lot of time reading, and I always loved the Book It programs through the library and Pizza Hut, and so those are my favorite summer reading stories.
Well, I love that. I loved Book It. I loved getting my pizza, man. That was the best thing.
Yes, I heard they're starting it back up.
Yes, they are. That is so fantastic. I know, it was just so special because it's I have my own little pizza.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh. Well, so very quickly in my memory, and then I want our readers to ask some questions, but I did not get to participate in my summer reading programs as a kid. And there was one summer, though, that my parents brought me to a program or two. And I think that they just, I don't know what the issue was. They didn't feel like I should go to these programs. They were all about the library, but they weren't, for some reason, they weren't all about the programs that they offered. So I did get to go, though, and I sat at the very back away from everyone else with my parents. And I got to hear the story, and I got to see the games, and I was like, this is the most magical thing ever. And so fast forward, when my kids were little, I was like, well, there is no way I'm not taking my kids to every program that is at our library. So my kids literally grew up in the library here, and I think they probably are over it at this point, but I hope that'll come back around when they have kids, and they'll get to enjoy some of those same memories that we did together. So now I want to hear our readers' questions for you guys. So you feel free to either drop in the chat, unmute, whatever you're comfortable with, and ask away.
Right, and I just have I need to ask you, do you still is German your most comfortable language, or is English more comfortable for you now because you've been here so long?
Great question. Actually, thanks, Faith, for asking it. I actually, I left Germany when I was 14 with my parents and my sister. We moved to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. My dad was in the oil business, and I learned English, the Queen's English, in 3 months. I went to a British school for 3 years. And then I went to an American boarding school for high school and an American college in England. And then I came over here to finish my college. But the funny thing is, growing up, in the UAE and whatnot, my sister and I, English is both our second language. But when we were together, we would refuse to speak English together, and even now, we will get together and we'll talk in English, and not in German. So we refused to speak German while we were out in public, and it was so funny because she went to an American school, and I went to a British school, and people would see us together, and we're 5 years, 6 years apart, and they would go, oh, you guys aren't sis. Oh, it's so nice of you. I'm the older one. For you to play with this younger kid, that you're not even related to. And I'm like, no, that's my sister. And they're like, no, can't be. You're British and she's not. I'm like, no. So, I tried really hard not to have an accent or anything like that. And when I go back to Germany now, it's really hard for me to speak German. And like when I talk to my parents, it's really awkward to get back into that German mindset. So yeah, it's really hard because English is now. I mean, I've been here 37 years, so much longer than I ever lived in Germany. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'll be trying to write, on WhatsApp or whatever to my family in German. I'm like, Google Translate, please. So yeah.
So I have to
But
tell you that Faith teaches German.
oh, how
Yes.
cool!
So she,
Yeah,
y'all are a
Es
match made in heaven.
freut mich, dass du da bist. Ich bin Deutsch.
Danke. Danke, vielen Dank.
Und deshalb
Das
die
ist
Frage.
Das ist komisch. Ja, das ist prima. But no, it's hard to get back into that German. And I mean, I have 3 kids, and the first one, I really wanted him to speak German, have German as his first sort of language, and that worked really well until he went to school, and he was like, "Mother, what are you doing to me? Stop that!" So I had to stop. But he speaks. All 3 of my kids, they understand it, and that's the first thing.
Yeah.
When you learn a language, they understand it. The speaking part is really not. It's harder than the understanding. So, but we were in Germany one year, and all of us were there, and my kids were watching TV, and my husband's like, and they're laughing. And they're like, "Wait, why? Did you understand what they were saying?" And the kids look at him like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Wait, that was in German." And they're like, "Oh, right." So
Nice.
yeah, thanks.
And you were in boarding school in Austria?
I was in an American boarding school near Salzburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I spent 1 year in Horn.
In where?
Horn is
Horn, yeah.
Im Waldviertel, nicht weit von Wien. And I spent 1 year teaching English in a gymnasium.
Oh ja, okay, ja.
So
Nice. Sehr gut, ja. Ich war in einer Realschule davor. But, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna smile and nod when y'all speak in German. Like,
we are not saying anything rude.
No.
I promise.
oh my goodness. All right. Well, what other questions might you guys have for our authors?
I was wondering if the authors would like to share a story that impacted them significantly, probably as an early reader.
Love that. That's a great question. I'm going to give you guys just a minute to think on that, and let's close out with a round robin answering that. And I'm going to draw a name for our first prize pack, okay? So whenever, I don't have my handy dandy basket. I completely forgot to grab it. So just know that I'm, okay. All right, J Strix. And I can't remember what the J stands for, but you won our first prize pack. So like I said, it's going to be a few weeks, but we're going to get all sorts of really fun swag in. And as soon as I have everything in, I'm going to send it to you. So I'll be reaching out to you for your mailing address soon. Congratulations. Yay. All right. So who wants to go first?
What was the exact question? I couldn't hear part of it.
Terry, do you want to ask it again, or you want me to reframe?
What I was asking was for you to share a memorable story, like from your childhood, that was like pivotal in your life.
I can start that one. It was, and I'll probably get the title wrong. It was when I was probably 13 or 14. It was Sweet 16 or Sweet 17.
Sweet 16, the series.
I must have read that about 5, 10, 20 times. I just love that book, and it stays with me. And I think that book helped me decide I wanted to write romance novels, because it was just so perfect when you're a teenager. And I guess the other one would be something like Gone with the Wind, or that was always there, and when I was younger, I didn't read as much until I realized what the library was all about. And I remember just going and checking out all kind of books. I can't remember any of the titles now, but like I said, what's her name, Nancy Drew, and those were just, I loved those, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on them. And to this day, I remember the first time I ever wrote anything for school. It was kind of based loosely on that, a mystery, and I just loved it and thought it was the best thing ever. And my teacher, gave me red marks everywhere, and she said, "You have potential." So that stayed with me. I had potential, so here I am. But yeah, I think that was my favorite. So
Great. All right, we're down to 2 minutes. So, and
I'll go real quick. Oh, good job. So a couple of stories, like anything with horses, I just devour it because I love horses. Then James Herriot inspired me to become a vet, which I ended up not being, but that was the main focus of my studies and whatnot. And then Mara, Daughter of the Nile. It's an old story. It's a mystery, kind of a spy, setting in is set in ancient Egypt, and that was just like, and anything Agatha Christie. That was me.
all right, who's next?
I'll go. I was going to say anything. I love Laura Ingalls Wilder. I love James Herriot. I loved all the stories that were true and took place, a long time ago. I just found it fascinating how they lived. It was so simply and so beautiful.
That's awesome. All right, Cassie.
I would say probably the Enchanted Forest Chronicles. Nobody's ever heard of them hardly, but it's a book about a princess that runs away because she doesn't want to be in an arranged marriage, and she volunteers to work for a dragon. So she becomes a cook and cleaner for a dragon. And it's a really cute story that I just loved growing up.
That sounds wonderful, and I'm going to have to add that to my list. So before we get cut off, everyone have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for being here, and it's going to be an amazing summer. Thank you to our authors. See you in the group this week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.